Oi, sorry about that, everybody. We had a minor moment, but Robbie pressed the end stream button by accident. I have to blame him for this recent event. My brother sneaking out of my room. Anyway, this is a quick one for me. I didn't think I was going to be doing an individual podcast today or some individual show. However, here we are. And Manchester United, but obviously beating Spurs 3-1, a great result, a fantastic performance in the second half from United. We obviously just had, if you were watching, all of the guests that were on the show a moment or so ago, all having their thoughts on the matter. And I'd say they all had a very, they had very different approaches to how they reviewed that game. For me, this performance cements Ole's job, I think, for next season. If there was any doubt before this match that he wouldn't be managing next season, he definitely now has, because there's still fans out there who still think he's not the man, who still think he isn't the person that can carry United back to where they belong and where they deserve to be as the team that conquers England and does well in European football on a season-by-season basis. There are things Solskjaer is quite literally taking out of the Ferguson playbook and putting it into his own right now. The ability to come back from the dead in matches, the ability to win games and playing poorly on some occasions, the ability to really grind out results, to get the best out of the team, to get clean sheets against sometimes getting good results, clean sheets as well. But the abilities that United possess can sometimes be their downfall. And on some occasions this season, they have been caught very suspect. However, that's the repertoires of having no pre-season and then struggling to get off the ground. Tottenham come up to Old Trafford, give United leading in the game before getting completely whitewashed with 10 men. Particularly when, was it 2-1 down and Martial got sent off? So in that game, I thought that was the turning point for United's season. It was either you do or die from here. If you die in a horrible fashion. And I don't think anybody who supported the club would have wanted anything more than see United fall in such a dramatic way. How we've recovered up to this point, and I feel yesterday again is another one of those watershed moments for United, having picked up 3 points against Tottenham at the same weekend. City lose as well. What has been greatly discovered is United's ability to just be that team who love being everyone's. They love to make everyone hate them, and you know what? For me, that's fine. If you want others to hate you in the way that we are being hated right now, great. Our past success does eventually may catch up to us later. But what you can't deny is there is a possibility. Solskjaer is almost there with this team. He's almost there. I don't think he'll bring United back to like treble successes or 5 trophies in one season or anything like that, for example. What I am hopeful for, however, is he gives the Man United consistency that we've lacked in years gone by. We're about to embark, I think, which is more cemented now just by yesterday's result. We're about to complete back-to-back seasons in the top 4 for the first time since 2013. And for what it's worth, this is a big thing for United, because having been in the mires during that period post-Ferguson with Moyes, with Van Gaal and Mourinho at the helm, all of them just could at no point get the best out of this team or out of the players that they had at the time. Some of which today, not Solskjaer's side, are still Mourinho players. The ones like of Pogba and Bailly, for example, who are still there. From Moyes' era, Phil Jones is still here. Luke Shaw was not at the club yet, but I think he was more in the Van Gaal era. De Gea was around when Ferguson retired, but he's been through 3 different managers in that period before Solskjaer. He was number 1 throughout. But one thing that I found incredibly surprising is how nonchalant he is, how confident he is, how positive he is. And I can't understand why fans can't see that. Why can you not see? Sometimes the most positive people always have a positive outlook on life, a positive outlook on football. They give human beings who love this game something to thrive on and something to enjoy. As fans, we're also those who are as greatly invested as we are in Manchester United. We also play a part in that, as we're the most important people at the club, not the owners. The owners do the job of making sure we stay as stable as possible. But when you're stealing money on dividends every year, you're not really keeping it stable, are you? What I don't understand is you criticize him. You don't give him fair bucks most of the time. And only now, when he's beaten your mesmeric superstar man, who you think is still the greatest thing since sliced bread, who couldn't lace a shoe at United even when given the chance, gets beaten soundly in the way that even he finds to be egregious and cries foul about it, you still back him. So why don't you run off with him? Makes no sense. Run off with him. He has no God-given right anymore to say he's as good as he was. Mourinho nowadays is somebody that I find him to be like the boy who cried wolf, and will most of the time cry wolf when things don't go well for him. However, everyone doesn't, and then everyone believes him. But when he doesn't cry wolf and things go well, it's suddenly brilliant again. Yesterday, Ollie Solskjaer went over there, having been flared up by comments he made about trophies being a defining factor about football clubs and football heritage and all that nonsense from 3 years ago after the Sevilla debacle. I think this was a perfect method of humbling him, of showing him that you don't get your way. You don't get everything you deserve on virtue of just your success alone. You should have been as good as you were at the club you last played a role at. If you were that good consistently, you wouldn't have been lambasted like this by fans who simply don't like you. You wouldn't have a cult that follows you and you only all around the world. One day they'll follow him at Spurs. When he gets sacked, where will he go next? To China? Oh, definitely not there. There's no money there. There's no money there at all. To Spain? Oh, what job have they got for him in Spain? I don't get it. I don't get it. You have to get off his back. Get the heck off of Solskjaer's back. He's doing the best job. Mourinho's not the United man anymore. And for what it's worth, I feel like he has to get more credit for the work he's done getting this team back into a position where they can now challenge for the Champions League again. He's being trusted, hopefully, this coming summer with the ability to pick and choose who he wants at this club, and they come in and take United up the next step. You're getting closer and closer to Man City. This season's an anomaly in the sense that we are, yes, ahead of Liverpool, ahead of Chelsea, and ahead of Tottenham. But maybe next season they'll get players back, Liverpool, that will bring them back to being a title contending side. Even though that team is sort of aging, but for 4 years they've been doing this ridiculous run of winning games back to back on end, getting to Champions League finals, competitive in the Premier League, missing out 1 year but winning it the next. And then they lose key players this season, and it shows that maybe they get them back. They could go back into being such a good team, but who knows? Tottenham, there's a lot wrong with them. I think recruitment's an issue for them. Chelsea are, scattergun with their approach on transfers, and it always seems to be that way. Manchester City they are pretty much not. Sometimes can be cheese, but they're also chalk as well. Leeds Saturday, there are occasions where they were chalk, and obviously it's clear to see they miss Ruben Diaz. For Manchester United now, this is easy for them. If they just stay consistent to the end of this season, make it respectable, the gap between City and United, there's something to feed off for next season. Say we finish 5 points behind them at the end of the year. Who knows? Who knows? But also, if anything, we're in that situation again where United, with 8 games to go in 2012, lost the title on the last day of the season. The particular occasion which comes to mind is of said Argentine smashing it in against QPR 93 minutes in. It hurts me to this very day. It still does. Even in nearly 10 years on, it still hurts me. Because that moment was not only harrowing for Manchester United, but horrible in the sense that it denied Ferguson, who worked so hard to keep United up at the top, it denied him of that ability to say, I did it again with a team which was definitely not getting much better and was still struggling to find their best form. I still went all the way, and this time was nicked by some money-grabbing pricks. Frankly, my honest feeling is there is too many people, I think, are discrediting Manchester United at this point of the season now. Even with these results they're getting against the likes of Granada in a quarterfinal of the Europa League. You realise that this is the only trophy we can play for this season now. We messed it up against Leicester. We shouldn't really have done that, but frankly, I couldn't care less. It happened. It's in the past. They're in the semi-final. We're not. We're 1 foot in the European semi-final. It's the trophy I wanted us to win if we were to pick one or the other. And I think this team can win this Europa League this year. I also think I can close the gap. To win the title, though, which I think is probably the most outlandish thing. I'm not saying that you're not entitled to believe United can do it, but I definitely can't see Man City dropping points anywhere between now and the end of this season, unless they are really bad and go on a horrible losing streak and United win out all their games. To close the 11-point gap between now and the time we play, when City play next in the Premier League, you kind of have to take all things into consideration. It's going to take a lot for United to be able to pull up that gap, overhaul City, and try and survive till the final whistle on the final day at Wolves. It's a tall order. It's why I say on every single one of these shows, United must be in front and by far for me to believe we win the title. I don't like these close run things because you don't have as much, I would like to say, space to celebrate if it does happen. Another thing which is of great worry is fans writing off the fitness of Rashford and the occasions where he's not playing at 100%. You have to remember, this is the guy who's on, so not even, I could say 65 to 70% fit. He can only play so many minutes. Just because at this point of the season, you want him to play in the Euros, you need him for this final part of the season. You need him to be able to still play a role in United getting through this final 9 or so games between 9 or so matches between the end of the season. And the more he gets strained, the harder it is for him. You have to give him a bit of scope to find his form, some breathing room. This is a man who's got an ability to recover because he's got 20 goals this season. He's earned his stripes. He's earned his rest. But Solskjaer can't risk him not playing, because you don't know if tomorrow he'll get injured in training and he'll miss another 3 weeks, and that's his season. He won't be able to be fit in time to play, if anything, the Europa League finals should we get there. Rashford's fitness just has to be monitored. Solskjaer is doing as much as he can to rest him where possible, play as few minutes as possible with him, and then get him into the next big Premier League game. Thankfully for United, he's doing such a good job, he's making it easier for himself. So I'm happy for him at that rate. I'm on to yesterday very quickly again. The first half, VAR shambles. Nothing I've ever seen involving a system, when the system's been involved, has been as incredibly ridiculous as that. Just because McTominay just slightly taps him on the face. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And Cavani was robbed of a very good goal. Pogba, a great assist. He does not deserve that, McTominay, at all. He's an honest boy. He's a great player. And I think there's something that referees always seem to get out for the players that are just a little bit taller than a shorter man. Pogba against Aurier yesterday, when his arm was about this high and it came across his face. I thought at that point, Pogba's in trouble here if he's not careful. But the VAR didn't see it and moved on with the game. Or ignored it and moved on with the game. In all honesty, I don't agree with some of the referees' decisions or the opinions they have. At the end of the day, United get what they deserve, and they deserve this win. They deserve on the basis of the performance in the second half, because they were absolutely fantastic. For Fred to score a goal, he's my man of the match for a reason, by the way. For Fred to score the goal and also have one of the better games he's played this season alongside it, for me, he deserves that man of the match. Edinson Cavani comes a close second, just because he's been so good for United this season. And he's been important for the likes of Greenwood and Rashford to hone their craft as attackers, to be able to score more goals, to be able to get in the space that the Uruguayan exploits. He was incredible yesterday. I saw Neville give him man of the match and he deserved it there. But I gave it to Fred because he's got a lot of stick this season. He's been given a lot of hard justice. People questioning whether he's Brazilian or not, or if he's playing on two left feet, he can't pass the ball more than 4 yards. Give the guy props sometimes, okay? He's not going to get everything right. Not everything gets everything right. And human beings make mistakes, So he should get props for that performance yesterday. To score a goal, to be able to put a great effort in yesterday afternoon, it showed that he still gives a damn. He still does his all for the team. And you could tell by how happy everyone was for him when he scored. The same could be said for Mason Greenwood, because this man he quite literally commits murder on the dance floor. They call him the gunman for a reason. The man is incredible. He's becoming one. He's a boy now for some, but for me, he's almost becoming a man. The confidence in his with the ball at his feet, to take a Reguilon like that and just brush past him before smashing it in at the near post of the French World Cup winner in Hugo Lloris. You've got quite big balls to do that, and he had massive balls to smash it in the near post. Terrific finish from him. He thoroughly deserved it, and I commend as well. Fernandes played his part. Rashford played his part. The back five were stellar. I think this goalkeeping situation has been decided now, which I think everyone's been pretty much poking a finger at me to answer the question. I think this goalkeeping scenario has been decided. Henderson by far now is the out and out number one at Manchester United, on virtue of being so good in this last 6 weeks or so. Not just for club, but for country as well. And he's definitely proved the point that the campaigner in De Gea, who we all felt needed a competition to really be threatened in the number one spot, has not stepped up to it. And it's that pressure that I think has forced him to crumble and allow Henderson to squeeze in. Now, obviously, you don't want to replace players on the grounds that they obviously have become parents and anything like that, but it offered Ollie an opportunity to obviously bring Henderson in and see how he fared in big games. And he has proven now that he handles big occasions brilliantly. So he had one of the best games as a goalkeeper as a keeper I've ever seen. And it's hard to see moments like that from such a young head on old head on young shoulders. He's maturing very quickly. And one way or another, whether he becomes England number one or not, he's certainly cemented his spot as Man United number one now. Because if Ollie's just demonstrating in the Europa League that De Gea could start games there, I mean, the decision really has been made, and it just shows that he has such great faith in Henderson, and he's proven by far that you give him a chance, he'll take it, and he deserves this moment in the limelight, does Henderson. I'm hopeful that this gives De Gea a kick up the backside now for the rest of this season, because, yeah, he's really only going to get Europa League matches, which more or less isn't such a bad thing. For De Gea to get Europa League games now, if he plays brilliantly there, like he did many a time in the Premier League for United before, not this season really, but on so many occasions before in the Premier League, if he plays like that for us in Europe now, I think he's got every chance of still being a challenger to Henderson in the future. But at the moment, Henderson is not only in front, but he's getting away from De Gea in this number one battle. And if he's outperforming him in training, then Ollie has every right to pick him in match days in the Premier League now. So Henderson number one, definitely by far. But he also complements the back five so well, so vocal, so commanding. He can communicate with Harry, and Harry, I think, feeds off of him. And it's something I've enjoyed watching, that him and Harry Maguire are sharing each other's thinking process and working together. They do it for England. They're doing it for United. And it's something I think United have been missing, a big English voice in the goal. I know Lee Grant's been in there, but he's never really been first choice. And whenever he gets the opportunity, I think he takes it. And I think it's good on him that he's still at the club as a goalkeeping coach now, playing a part to support the development of Henderson and get as much out of David De Gea while we still have him. If David stays at United, though, and takes a pay cut, I don't know if he will. If he stays at United and takes a pay cut, that proves to you he still gives a crap about this club and will go through thick and thin to play for him. Even when his prime goes long after his prime. If he leaves and goes to Spain, then we don't know. The other thing is future issue that is playing on minds of many a United fan is the Cavani matter. Yesterday, I looked at Fiorentina striker Dusan Vlahovic. Now, I don't know why he hasn't been seriously considered as an option. The guy's got double figures in Serie A this season. Now, I'm not one to prop players, but having watched him play, his teammates with Nikola Milenkovic at the same club. I can't see how United can't go in there and take the pair of them. They're two Serbians. The striker's a brilliant finisher, a lethal finisher, and aerially threatening. You've got Milenkovic at the back who's good and can be, if United are bringing him in for as low a fee as it's been reported, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, that coupled with Dortmund, the chase with Dortmund for one of either Haaland or Sancho, who knows which one it is. Frankly, I couldn't give a damn. United are great right now with Cavani in this team. If he stays, we are benefiting from a world-class striker, even at his age now, a world-class striker who's owning the craft that he knows only too well in Europe with us now, but also with this talented bunch of attackers in Rashford, in Greenwood, even in the new boys, the likes of Hugo and McNeil who are playing in youth squads, can take something out of them because they're scoring goals for fun at the level below United. If we bring them in, great. Ahmed Diallo as well. He's still in the team. He's still there and thereabouts, adapting his game, trying to get opportunities. I hope we see him on Thursday, for example. I feel like there's a positivity about Man United again. It's one we haven't felt in a while. The season's not even over yet. We're coming up to the end of it. And if the crux of that season is United lifting the Europa League in Gdansk on May the 26th, and I hope to be there for it, but if it's the crux of our season to win the Europa League and lift the title in May on the 26th, May 26th, then great. And then we can look forward to August, and if City do their stupidity and win at least the FA Cup, we can and finish the job in league. We can meet them in August. That is something. I'd love to have a Manchester derby at Wembley one more time. But frankly, I care about this club. We all do. And if you do care about this club, you will also give a damn about what they try and do on this pitch. Off it, we worry about that at the end of the season, okay? Worry about transfers then. Worry about little things like, whether Rice will come, whether Sancho will come, whether Milenkovic will come, whether anyone will join the club in the summer. Worry about that when we finished our year, okay? And more importantly, if I can do that period before the Euro start, where you just get signings in, that would be tip-top. But we see what John Murta and Edward would do. We have to wait and see with that as well. But yesterday, big result. We're nearly there now. We're nearly in the Champions League for next season. And I'm hoping next year is not a drop back into the Europa League again. But on top of that, we're starting to continue. We're still continuing our fantastic away run in the Premier League. We're 23 unbeaten in the Premier League as well now. I think that's incredible to be being that long. I mean, we're not going to be rewarded with the title at the end of the season, unfortunately. But I feel something like that is championship worthy. If we are to win the championship the title next season, we've got a base. We've got this base. Our great run away from home and the ability to come back from the dead. If we can keep doing that for as long as possible and get rewards at the end of it with Solskjaer at the helm, there is lots to look forward to. And, deep breath. Yes, we could close the gap, but all I want is to close the gap. Anything more, it will be nothing more than a miracle. And Solskjaer should get the statue built immediately. That's as far as I'll go on that front. Nearly got for half an hour, but I've given as much thought as possible to everything. You have to give the manager time. You have to be patient with United. There's nothing that will go well on some days that won't go wrong. That will go wrong the next day. So we move to Granada. We have a 2-0 lead. We're missing 3 key players for that game because of impetuous refereeing in Spain on Thursday night. So more or less, we have one foot in the semi-finals. But just to make sure, we have to get the job done. Complete the job. Make sure we don't concede 2 goals, and we are there in earnest for a meeting against Ajax or Roma before, hopefully, should we get past them with limited trouble, an opportunity as a European final in Gdansk again. Fingers crossed, of course. As for the Premier League season, who knows? But if we close the gap, respectable. As I said, any more than that is nothing short of a miracle. We wait and we see. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you listening to me waffle for a bit. As always, I'm very happy to be here on Trafford Talk again, bringing these wonderful shows to you. We'll be back again on Wednesday night for the preview for the Granada game on Thursday, and then the review for the Granada match on Thursday night will also be live here on Trafford Talk. So you have that to look forward to. Reminder, United are 2-0 up from the first leg, and it looks all right. We don't have Maguire, Shaw, or McTominay for the second leg. But it's in more or less it's a forced rest on those 3 key players. So we expect to see a few different names in the team, and I hope they can take the opportunity and perform. Also, some rest on our forwards as well. But we'll go deeper into that, and I need to grow preparations for that game as well. On Wednesday night, you can tune in then. But until then, please like and subscribe on Trafford Talk YouTube channel if you're watching this on there, and also do the same on Twitter if you're watching this Twitter via Periscope. Hit the follow button on the Trafford Talk podcast and share this around. If you want to follow me, you can see my Twitter's right there, and you can, I don't tweet very much, but I promise to tweet as much as I can. Thank you everyone for joining me today. I'll hope to speak to you again on Wednesday night. Until then, have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Adios.